Welcome to the So Much More podcast, where we talk with people in the custom window treatment, soft home furnishings industry, and so much more. I'm your host, Ciel DeGuglielmo. My guest on the podcast today is David Reinholtz. He runs the Instagram page, Rags by Reinholtz. He specializes in vintage garment repair and restoration. He has been doing this full-time for almost 2 years now, and he wouldn't trade it for the world. He loves being able to save all kinds of pieces destined for the garbage. His favorite client would definitely be a collector or anyone who sees value in repairing vintage garments. Always repair before you replace. I had the pleasure of speaking with David today, and I was given his name by Denise Dalton, who owns the Drapery House in Leesburg, Virginia. And David works for her part-time. And when I met with Denise on the Real Workroom tour with Janelle Deck, she was so excited about the fact that he was working with her and that this was a young person coming into the industry. And she's so supportive of him and what he's learning to do that I was really looking forward to meeting him. And he was just charming and delightful. And I can see why Denise is so happy to have him working with her. I hope you enjoy hearing from David today. David, thank you so much for agreeing to be on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Why don't we have you tell the listeners a little bit about who you are, a little about your business and your job, because those are two different things for you.
Of course. So my name's David Reinholtz. I run the account Rags by Reinholtz on Instagram, and I do vintage repairs, alterations, and restorations. And I'm all self-taught.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just kind of started from doing one repair, and it grew into what it is now. So it's been a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work.
So you taught yourself, but what inspired you to get started in the first place?
Yeah, so after I graduated high school, I was working like blue collar jobs for 4 years after high school. And throughout all of that, I was always buying new pants and stuff because I was ripping holes in them. So it kind of started like based off of necessity. And I wanted to repair my own clothes. And once I was doing that, people at my job liked it and stuff like that. So I thought, maybe this could be something. And then once I was living in Ohio and I moved back home, and I went to a vintage market and I bought a pair of pants from somebody, fixed those pants up and posted them. And the guy that I bought the pants off of saw that, and he said, "Oh, I might have some stuff for you to fix if you're interested."
Oh, wow.
So yeah, of course I'd be interested. So it started from nothing really, but.
Okay. And so that is a business that you've started and created, but you also have a job.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Because I've already interviewed your boss, and she had lots of nice things to say about you.
Yeah. So I work with Denise Dalton at the Drapery House, making window treatments and valances, all that, some light upholstery, and that's been really fun. Lots of good learning experiences, and it's just been nice to be able to sort of follow this career path in another way, not just in clothing, but in another industry.
And how did the two of you meet, and how did you start working for her?
So my girlfriend works at the salon that she gets her hair done at, and her boss, my girlfriend's boss, cuts Denise's hair.
Okay.
So they were chatting, and she said something about her old seamstress retiring and needed someone new, and he recommended me just based off of the conversations that they've had. He knows I do this.
Okay.
So it's just off of that recommendation.
So Denise has sung your praises, but I'm curious from your standpoint. You've had this experience now where you've been repairing clothes, and it's small pieces and small things. And now you're talking with her about learning how to make window treatments. What were your thoughts about? I mean, obviously you took the job, but what were you thinking as she was explaining to you what you were going to be doing and what you were going to have to be learning?
Yeah, it was definitely a little intimidating at first. Just a lot of new information to learn. So there's some math in there that I had to learn as well. And but she's the best. She's the best teacher. She's very patient with me, and she's worked me through every step of the way. And I'm confident, as to where I am now. So.
Okay. Okay. So, as someone who has done a little bit of the repair work myself,
Mhm.
and it's really just starting to get into it a little bit. Also, trying to make it look like it's artistic or creative, not just slap a patch on something. What When you look at a piece, are you able to look at it and say, nope, not going to happen? There's nothing I can do with this. Are you willing to try? What are some of the things that go through your head when you're looking at a piece that needs to be repaired?
Absolutely, yeah. So I have a problem saying no to people most of the time, as
Oh,
far as like.
David, you are going to fit in so well in this industry.
Yeah, yeah. I'm typically up for the challenge as long as the client is willing to pay, because the more time it takes, the more expensive it is, of course.
Right.
But yeah, I'm always pretty much up for the challenge. I've rebuilt jackets from pieces. I get a lot of stuff from people that pick abandoned houses, so a lot of that is like dirty, like
Okay.
dry rotted stuff, and I've been able to learn how to save some of these pieces, which is really rewarding. So.
Okay. So, like upholstery, I think when a designer brings me a project, I'm starting from scratch.
Mhm.
It's on a bolt, everything else. But upholstery and what you do with the repair work is there's something already existing that you have to work around.
Right.
And one of the things that I have heard from people in our industry was that taking things apart helped them learn how to do things. And I'm wondering if you have discovered that and how that works for you in the repair part of your career.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really the main reason, or the main way I learned, was by taking on challenges, stuff that I wasn't necessarily like confident that I could do,
Hmm.
but by bringing it in and like looking at it, and then like you said, taking it apart really taught me like how it goes back together, or what, like, where I should start at repairing and stuff like that. But yeah, taking stuff apart down to like just the individual panel pieces has been a
Hmm.
really great way to learn,
Okay.
more about this.
Okay. Have you had any projects that you've taken apart and cannot put back together again?
Not yet, fingers
All
crossed.
right, knock on wood for you.
Yeah.
Do you have any trouble transitioning from the repair work to working on the window treatments?
Um, a little bit. I would say it's a little bit like slower paced. There's times where we're standing there talking and trying to figure out like where the pleats should go, or
Mhm.
seaming stuff. But it does kind of go hand in hand. I really am grateful that, like, before getting this job, I had some sewing experience on industrial machines.
Mhm.
So I think it goes hand in hand pretty well,
Okay.
even
So,
though it's a bit different.
right. Have you made any major purchases for yourself for your part of the business?
Yeah, I bought I think it was last year, like around fall time, I bought this industrial Juki,
Hmm.
because I was using just a domestic machine for the first almost full year. I think I was using my Singer domestic machine, but
Okay.
eventually I decided it was time, and I
Okay.
bought an industrial machine. So yeah, that was my biggest purchase so far.
What a difference, right?
Oh my god. Yeah, I'll never go back.
So I'm curious about how you are managing to do both. A lot of people in our industry start their businesses as a part-time business and they are doing other things. So it's not unheard of. But
Yeah.
how are you balancing running your Instagram account, working on clothes? And side question, is it just vintage things now, or are you working on anything that anybody brings you?
I typically specialize in vintage just because that's kind of like the clientele that I've built, but
Okay.
I'll repair anything. For
Okay.
family members or friends, like stuff like that, I've definitely repaired some more modern pieces, but it is a lot of old stuff.
Okay. So then how are you balancing the time that you're working with Denise and running this business?
I wake up early and I get started. But yeah, it's a lot of work for sure, but um, just because I control everything and I'm able to tell the clients like the lead time and stuff like
Hmm.
that, I really feel like I haven't put too much pressure on myself with what I have here and then with what I'm doing with Denise. Plus, I work for Denise 2 days a week, so
Okay.
it's pretty easy to balance everything. Over the
Okay.
last month, I did take on quite a bit of work, but I've managed to get caught up and I'm feeling a little bit better about it. But yes,
Okay.
it can be a lot for sure.
So you mentioned something about things taking time and charging for it. And with what a lot of us do, it can be difficult to determine what we charge for things. So, without talking actual numbers, how have you determined how you need to get paid for the repair work? And do you give an estimate ahead of time to
Mhm.
people? How's that working for you?
Yeah, so I give a free estimate. Once I receive pictures, I look at them thoroughly and I write down. It's hourly for the
Hmm.
most part, unless it's a full restoration. Those are kind of a flat rate. But yeah, for the most part, I mean every piece is different. Every client's different, so it's really case by case. But I try to be as fair as possible to the client, of
Hmm.
course, but I still have to make, my money. So, but it can be tricky. I do have people like to try to haggle the prices, which is not my favorite part of the business at all. But
Right? I'm with you on that.
yeah, but I've been able to figure it out, and I think I price my stuff pretty fairly. So, I
Okay.
can't really complain too much.
Have you learned anything from the window treatment portion of what you're doing that helps with your pricing in your
Yeah.
business?
Yeah, I think I have. I mean, I see how Denise prices like where she buys her fabric from the supplier and then what she charges the customer and things like that. And then like just based off of everything else, like the small things that the customer doesn't even realize are happening.
Right.
She charges for that, whether it's, wherever it is in the breakdown, she does make sure she gets her money. And I respect that and I definitely have tried to learn from it because it's important. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't do this for free.
Yeah, and it's so interesting to me, David, because so many of the people who are in the window treatment industry many of us started out with a talent that we had and trying to make some extra money and not necessarily thinking of it as a career
Mhm.
or a business. And I'm talking like, decades ago, where younger people now coming into it are like, no, I have to make money. My time has value. And
Mhm.
some of us who are a little older than you had to learn that a little slower. So
Sure.
it thrills me to hear you say that because it is your time and your talent that you've been developing now over the years.
Mhm.
How long have you been doing this now?
Um, about almost 3 years. This year will be
Okay.
3 years.
Okay. So in the beginning, you were still working in blue collar work. You were helping out some coworkers and fixing
Mhm.
some things. At what point did you say, this is a business and I can do this?
So it was after I had moved back here from Ohio. I was working with my dad doing plumbing, and at night I would do repairs for. I had one client at the time, and that's the guy who really started my business. He trusted me with one piece, and then he liked that one piece, so he sent me a huge box of stuff.
Oh, wow.
So that really got me started because then I was able to, post those, gain new clients. He was telling his friends about the stuff. So it just slowly blossomed. And then once I realized, like, oh, I'm busy without having to go to work for my dad, I was like,
Okay.
maybe I could do this full time.
If you weren't doing this, what else would you be doing?
Um, I would like to think I'd be doing something else in the fashion space, but realistically, probably working on like a golf course or something like that, maybe in like a park,
Okay. Okay.
something outside, probably.
Okay. What have been some of the biggest challenges for you in getting this set up as a business?
Yeah, so probably dealing with the customer, of course, is a big part of it.
Right.
And then figuring out my pricing, of course. But for me, like I think the thing that is the trickiest thing to keep up with for whatever reason is the like social media side of things. I'm good at talking to the customer if someone reaches out, but like recently over the past month, I haven't really posted that much stuff just because I've been so busy with everything else. So I would say probably the social media side of things is the
Okay.
trickiest part for me.
Have you ever considered quitting and just doing something else completely?
Absolutely. All the time.
Okay. I love asking that question because I get
Yeah.
some very different answers, but yes, all the time is a frequent answer. And
Yeah.
yet we keep doing it.
Yeah. It's just something about it.
Okay. David, I love to ask this of my guests uh, because as many interviews as I've done, I've very seldom gotten the same answer. And that is, what is your definition of success?
I like that question. Um, I would say for me personally, it's not like it's never really a number for like a monetary value or whatever. I think success is being able to do something you love for a living, and
Mhm.
like, you wake up every day happy, ready to go to work. I think that's a true blessing, and like there's not a lot of people out there that can say that.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And seldom is the answer having to do with money. People want to be able to pay their bills, but waking up and being happy about what we want to do that day is really important. What would you say, based on that definition, has been the greatest success for you so far in what you're doing?
Just being able to do it full time, I think, and not having to. I mean, there's been times, at the end of the month where I'm like, oh, well, I got to make some money real soon, but it always works out. I'm always busy. I mean, every time I think there's going to be a lull and I'm getting slower, it picks right back up again.
Okay. We
So,
find that to be true. I'm sure you see it in Denise's workroom as well.
mhm.
The sponsors of the So Much More podcast allow me to bring guests to you each week. And without them, I couldn't do it. I'm pleased as the owner of the Curtains and Soft Furnishings Resource Library that I can use the library to help sponsor the podcast as well. The library hosts the industry's largest curated collection of educational resources for the custom home furnishings professional. Membership to the library gives you access to a wealth of downloadable reference materials, videos, live events, as well as a community of support to help you develop your design, sales, and fabrication skills, and to grow or start a business. Join the library today at csfrl.org. The Workroom Channel is the premier online training provider for professional fabrication skills. Go to theworkroomchannel.com to browse the selection of anytime access courses created by industry experts. Watch detailed demonstration videos, download companion materials, and participate in private course discussion boards with your instructor and classmates from around the world. Start your course path today at theworkroomchannel.com. Education, networking, visibility, and industry discounts are just a few of the benefits that are offered to members of the Window Covering Association of America. The WCAA is the only national nonprofit trade association that's dedicated to the window coverings industry and the dealers, decorators, workrooms, designers, and installers that make up our membership. The library is a gold level sponsor of the WCAA. Join today at WCAA.org. WCAA, where you are never in business alone. Discover Klimaka Studios, where innovation meets exceptional design. Klimaka fabric and wallpaper collections are inspired by the original works of collaborating artists and developed with the understanding of how fabrics are manipulated into exquisite soft home furnishings. Workroom businesses enjoy exclusive access to engineered designs and best trade pricing. From clever layouts to classic linen prints, Klimaka Studios delivers the quality and consistency that your business demands. And Klimaka's reliable, on-time delivery keeps your projects running smoothly. Go to klimakastudios.com for swatches and trade account information. Klimaka Studios, for the joy and profit of workrooms. As someone who is still learning and new at this, I'm very curious. How do you handle mistakes?
I mean, I just take it as a learning experience, really. I mean, if I do make a mistake, most of the time it's something I can fix. I've never had anything where I had to like, pay the customer back
Mhm.
anything. Knock on wood again, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's just yeah, I don't know. I'm blanking now.
That's okay. That I think you gave a fair answer.
Okay.
Are you a book reader, and are there any books that you recommend?
Um, yeah, I'm into like the old Western books because I love antiquing. So anytime I'm out, I'll find a good old Western book. But
Okay.
my all-time favorite book is Where the Red Fern Grows.
Oh, wow. I have not even thought about that book in such a long time.
My favorite.
Do you ever reread books?
Absolutely.
Okay. I've just once or twice recently. I feel like there's so many books out there to read, but
Hmm.
there are a couple of books that are well worth reading, and that might be one of them for me. I think I might have to pick that one back up again.
Yeah, it's a great one. There's a movie too if you don't feel like reading the book.
I'll always read the book first.
Yeah.
Do you use much technology in your business?
Just my phone, really. I mean, unless you count like the sewing machines as technology, and of course, my iron is very important to me. I would say
Yeah.
that's probably my most important tool in the workroom
Okay.
is my iron.
All right.
But yeah, besides that, not really. Just my phone.
Okay. So it's kind of tied in, but what would you say are the three items that you cannot live without in your business?
Definitely my iron. Um, I would say my phone is pretty important because that's how I get my business and stuff like
Right.
that. But besides that, I really like my little studio that I have here. So I
Okay.
would say I wouldn't be as happy working in another space, probably.
Okay. I like that. And again, I don't always get the same answer to that
Yeah.
question either. So, since you have learned to sew through the repair process and in working with Denise, do you do any sewing for just for yourself?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I,
what kind
I
of things do you like
I
to make?
recently started. Well, not recently. Ever since I started doing this, I've always wanted to make stuff from scratch. And over the last 2 years or so, I've been able to do that. I started with like bags and stuff like that.
Okay.
I've made a couple jackets, a couple pairs of pants, and things like that. So I get to do it for myself too, but a lot of my personal clothes have holes, and I never have time to repair them. So
Oh, I can relate to that
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Those of us who make window treatments seldom have nice window treatments on
yeah.
our windows. um, as far as making clothes, are you using pre-made patterns or are you creating some yourself? How are you coming to the pattern part of it?
I've tried to do just based off of measurements and making a block,
Hmm.
but the easiest way I figured is just to find something that fits me well and
Okay.
either rub it off of that or I'll just completely tear it apart and make the pattern from that, and then I can adjust the pattern from there.
Okay. All right. What I'm curious what things about what you're doing in your business have surprised you the most?
Probably the type of stuff that I've been able to like bring back. I mean, there's some
Mhm.
jackets that probably should have just been sent to the landfill or sat there to rot for the rest
Yeah.
of the time. But I've been able to save some pretty crazy pieces, and it's always a super rewarding feeling to bring something back from like the dead, basically, and like give it a whole new life.
Okay.
Yeah,
There is something about that. I mean, there are times when you just look at something and say, "You've serviced me well. It's time for you to go." But then there
yeah,
are times like, "But I really love this, and I don't want to let it go."
yep.
What is your favorite thing to work on, David? Let's break it down. What's your favorite kind of repair to work on in your business, and what's your favorite thing to make when you're working with Denise?
So for my business, I would say my favorite like type of piece is something that comes from like a collector or someone who has, very like sentimental value for the piece.
Right.
But like a full restoration is probably my favorite. Being able to tear something down look at it, decide what needs to happen and be able to execute that is super rewarding and fun.
Okay.
But then for working with Denise, I really like making just big panels.
Okay.
But I had a lot of fun making the valance we did last week or 2 weeks ago. Lots of pleats. It was this huge wide. I forget how big it was, but it was huge. But it was
Okay.
only about like 12 inches tall or something like that. It was really cool to be able to put that much fabric together and make it look like something.
Okay. What do you do extremely well?
I would say I'm a good problem solver.
Okay. Yeah, you would kind of have to be with the restoration work for
Yeah.
sure. What do you not do so well?
Um, the technology side of things. I'm a bit of a caveman when it comes to, technology. All of my estimates are on pencil and paper.
Okay.
I would love to one day be a spreadsheet type of guy, but I don't know. I haven't been able to, pursue that aspect
Okay.
of the business yet, but eventually I will.
Okay. What do you love best about what you're doing, David?
Besides like being able to bring something back and like give it a second life, it's super rewarding to just be able to like extend the life of some of these pieces and like, you know, maybe someone's dog chewed it up or whatever it is. It's really, really rewarding to be able to like bring it back and have someone like be happy to wear it again.
Okay. All right. What do you like least about what you do?
Um, Probably dealing with the client.
That is a common answer.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
I
are
mean,
not
I
alone.
love all of my clients. They're all super, super nice people. I've been very fortunate and, the amount of trust that people have in me.
Right.
But sometimes, there's one or two here and there that want to haggle the price or whatever. And I can deal with it, but it's probably the most annoying thing to deal with.
Yeah, I think most of us would probably prefer not to deal with that at all.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because I do think that there are some um, I know from conversations with people in the industry, there are some cultural differences where some people are more likely to ask for a discount or whatever. And
Mhm.
one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was from a friend of mine who owns her own window treatment business. Customer said, can you sharpen your pencil a little bit? Can you make it a better price? And she said she really was this close. And she said, I did give you my best price. And the client said, okay, and wrote the check. And the
Hmm.
whole way home, she kept thinking, if I had said, sure, I'll knock off whatever, I would have been working just as hard for less
But
money.
yeah.
And that to me has just stuck with me so much when someone's balking at the price, but sometimes people just feel compelled to ask. They don't even think
Yeah.
they're being difficult or disrespectful or anything like that. They're just, I could
Mhm.
ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a slow learning process for me. Towards the beginning of my business, I was definitely giving out discounts and just kind of trying to make the customer happy, of course, to build my clientele. But recently I have stopped doing that as much. I still, if someone's like, oh, I really want to do this, but I just can't swing that right now. Sometimes still I will work on my prices a little bit for people, but it's just kind of for like, I don't know, for myself, I guess, make
Yeah.
it feel a little better.
Yeah. What do you struggle at all with friends and family? Because I find that's a little difficult sometimes when they ask me to do things for them. Is that still a struggle for you
Well,
or?
I tell you what, I have a pile of stuff to do for my girlfriend that's just been sitting there. So that's the biggest problem, it's just
Yeah.
not being able to get to my family stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're not getting paid for it. So it's got to take a second. Yeah.
It's gonna take a second, yeah.
That part I'm very familiar with.
Hmm.
David, what about you would surprise people?
Um, I could replace your toilet.
You can repair my clothes and replace the
Yeah, yeah,
toilet. There
yeah.
you
I
go.
did I did plumbing for 4 years after high school, so
Okay.
I'm pretty well versed in things like that, but I don't know if you'd be able to tell that by looking at me.
No, probably not. But that is a skill you will never regret having, that's for sure. Are people surprised when they meet you what you are doing as a
Yeah.
business and as a job?
Yeah. So a lot of younger people are surprised for sure, but I really enjoy talking to, older people about it because they're usually more excited about it. Like
Okay.
my grandmother on my dad's side was a seamstress. She worked
Okay.
at a department store back in like the 60s in
Mhm.
New York or somewhere like that. So being able to talk to her about sewing, she gets really, really into it and,
Okay.
just super excited. She says she thinks about me every day.
That's
So
so nice.
yeah, I really like to talk to the older generation about it.
Okay. Do you kind of made fun of yourself and said you're a caveman when it comes to technology. Do you look at your generation and think that maybe there's a lot less hands-on capabilities within people of your age?
Yeah, to a certain extent, I think. Like I don't know if like someone my age or younger than me got like a hole in their pants if they were going to sit there take the time to learn how to fix it.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree 100%, but also that you can fix a toilet because you were learning a trade for a while. So
Yeah.
those are the kind of things that um, I love technology. I love what it can do,
Hmm.
but so much of what we do is with our hands.
Hmm.
And yes, having an industrial sewing machine is fantastic,
Yeah.
but we could still do it with our hands if we
Yeah.
had to. Take a lot longer, but it could be done.
Right.
Yeah. David, I'm curious, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully in a nice little studio, uh 5 or 6 sewing machines. And hopefully at that point I'm still doing repairs. I still always want to do repairs, but eventually I would really like to make not necessarily like a clothing brand, but I'd like to do like small little collections maybe or
Okay.
little capsule collections and maybe even just give them to family friends and stuff like that, but I'd like to be able to share like that kind of side of my work.
Okay.
Hopefully in 5 years.
What what would you call your aesthetic when it comes to that part of what would you call your aesthetic when it comes to fashion? Like you've mentioned making some jackets and pants
Mhm.
and things like that.
A lot of what I do is pretty heavily inspired by like workwear
Okay.
and like vintage Americana stuff, like Western wear.
Mhm.
But I like anything old. So it
Okay.
doesn't really matter. Um,
Okay.
I really am into like floral prints. I like the old watercolor stuff. But I honestly think it'd be tricky to tie me down to one aesthetic.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to keep watching. So, um, in what ways do you think you're resilient, David?
I've been close to quitting a couple times, like we talked about,
Mhm.
and I think what makes me resilient is just like being able to sit and think like, oh, is this what I should be doing? Is it paying off? Is all of this for nothing?
Mhm.
And being able to like, push through that and say, yeah, it's for, this is your future. This is what you love to do. And I don't know. I think that's probably it.
Okay. All right. I have you sent me your Instagram account, and I will put a link to that in the show notes.
Awesome.
It's at rags underscore by Reinholtz for people who will not go to the show notes to look for it.
Yeah. And you
Um,
can you can just look up Dr. Rags on Instagram too. It should
okay.
come up.
All right. That's the best, probably the best way.
Yeah.
So I love to end the interview by asking people to give advice to anyone who's thinking about um, coming into the industry. A lot of the people I speak with are already in the window treatment industry, but you started your own type of business. So what advice would you give to someone who was thinking about it?
I mean, I would say don't hold back. Like if you have an idea, just go for it. And especially in the sewing industry, everybody I've met has been super, super welcoming and just very, very nice to me. And they're excited that someone young is like into, the idea of
Absolutely.
sewing. So I would say, yeah, just like you can do anything you want to do as long as you put your mind to it. And I mean, just don't give up is all I have to say.
The quitting question is often answered by yes, I want to quit every day, and yet we're still here. So
Yeah,
you're right, don't give up. David, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I really appreciate it. I was looking forward to it. As I said, Denise had nothing but nice things to say about you. And I'm just so intrigued by what you're doing with your business that I wanted more people to hear about it. So thank you.
of course. Thank you so much.
It is exciting to hear and see a younger person who's interested in learning the skills that all of us have developed over the years. And I love that David has some ideas for the future, but is still kind of open to what that's going to look like. I also love that he is valuing his time and trying to learn to charge properly for it. As I said, in speaking with Denise, she was so excited to have him working with her and just excited for the fact that this was a young person who was interested in learning the sewing skills and is reliable and is willing to learn. And just listening to David as he has developed the skills to repair work just gives me a lot of hope for people in the future still sewing. I really hope that you enjoyed hearing from David. Um, be sure to follow his Instagram account because it is fascinating to see what he's been able to do with some garments and what he's been able to salvage. And maybe it'll inspire you to fix some of your own clothes because, we have so much time to do that. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great day.